Go guys, it's pretty much gonna happen here today, tomorrow, whatever. I'm gonna try to get rid of my poke here and put the all-wheel drive subframe under. As you can see, the weather's really cooperative. We're due for a big snowstorm, but I want to get things started, and it's about time. I got my other car running. I at least want to get this in so I can roll on the rear subframe, and then get the engine and drivetrain sorted out later. So all right, so obviously got to take a bunch of junk out of the back, and the fuel cell has to be removed. I have to drain that. You can see I already have a good bit of rot. Gonna see how that pans out. Obviously a hell of a mess. Like I said, I've been using this car pretty abusively for a while. But I'm thinking that at this point, I was discussing with my dad, he's going to probably help me with the project at least some, because it's his garage and he wants to shit out of here as soon as I do, if not sooner. But I am hoping to remove the whole floor pan out of the Talon and use it. And that's mainly because, as you'll see here, when I was going through repairing it last year, it's pretty bad. And I have some holes developing, so I'm going to either have to remove that stuff. I'm not really into patching it, so I'd have to basically put a whole new frame rail in. Or, ultimately, if not putting a new frame rail in, what seems simpler is putting in the rear subframe, or the whole rear floor pan out of the Eclipse, which will also eliminate a lot of the problem with this. Being in the road, I know some guys just cut them off, trim it, whatever, or just take out the hole and put in sheet metal. I'm thinking too, as far as spare tire, this is always meant to be a street car, not just a race car. I do intend on racing it, but I want this thing to be like pretty much daily drivable. So hopefully we won't run into too many problems with like the strut tire replacement and stuff like that. I have to still see how the rear seat floor pan is going to sit, where if I'm going to cut forward or back more. I doubt I'll be using as far forward as the seats, because I doubt they're the same setup in the Eclipse or Talon frames, but not really a big deal. Just a lot of measuring, checking, going nuts, and starting over. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys. So got a lot done the other night. Had to work for a couple of days here, so I haven't touched it much. As you can see, I started disassembling the entire rear subframe. Got everything pulled out. Typical northern junk. It's all, rotten brake lines, everything. The plan has been to basically put the mounts up in the front where necessary, and then probably modify whatever I needed. As it went back, I wasn't sure how this frame pocket would play out with the first gen disassembler subframe. But the problem is, as I went further on, I found stuff like this. It's right here. That's completely rotted through. I was trying to stick my hand on it, but I don't think. There we go. You can see my fingers underneath there. It's pretty well rotted. I thought it was just a lot of surface rust, like some of this stuff. I mean, it looks scary, but you can usually clean it up some, put some rust converter on, whatever. At this point, pretty much guaranteed that this has to be entirely gutted and start fresh. So I have to do some measurements and throw the first gen disassembler subframe and floor pan in. I don't know how far forward it's going to get. I haven't figured that part out. But as you can see, I got the bumper, my hacked up 3000 exhaust, all my suspension parts out of the way. took the cut the brake lines, and I'm just going to start basically doing my best to sort out what's going to be replaceable, what's going to hopefully I don't have to modify too much. I mean, I know the floor pans aren't going to line up directly, but still got to get the fuel cell out, pull my stuff here that I modified to run that for a while, and then after that, then I got to make measurements to see where, because I want it sitting below the floor pan or something along those lines, hopefully to allow for more conventional fuel filling. I really, as much as it may seem cool to have a fuel cell that you know, reach in and open all the time with the trunk, that's kind of gets annoying. And for me, I really wanted, this whole project's always been, I wanted it to be a streetcar type thing. So I'm going to probably try to make the fuel filler neck come in and go through the floor to this, probably pull this out and actually have an adapter, either build one or if I have to buy one. They're a bit expensive, but I'd like to actually have a regular functioning gas door and, you know, go back to more of the sleeper look, if you will. I don't want the car looking too radical, a little here and there, but for the most part, going to get started on all that, and hopefully not find any more tricks we'll have to deal with, and eventually going to probably pull off some of this stuff, make sure there's no significant rot like the rocker panels, because that happens a lot up here in the north too, if I have to replace those as well. But going to go get some measurements off of the Talon and get some measurements off of this and go from there.